Welcome to the weird and wacky world of Hero to Zero, the only show that travels the globe in search of life's greatest heroes and ultimate zeros. Forget royalty, TV stars, the rich and famous and the like. Hero to Zero brings you the real-life stories of everyday people that go all the way to the top, take a dive and throw it all away, or just totally lose the plot. On today's show, we smash the expensive dinnerware just because we can. We get merry and celebrate the world's tallest stack of pancakes and meet a blind man with an amazing ability to fix electronic circuitry. Plus, we dance a wheelchair cha-cha-cha, find out how to break out of Thailand's prison system and go out to dinner in a Chinese prison. So grab your fine china as we head off to Japan for some stress therapy of a different kind. It's Friday evening, you've just finished your 9 to 5 for the week and it's been a bad hair day. With a head full of steam and some cash in your pocket, what are you going to do to relieve some of that stress? Well, if you happen to be walking down Tokyo's bustling electronics shopping district, a group of chiropractors are offering a smashing new way to relax and forget the worries of the week that's been. One of the chiropractors, Katsuya Hara, calls out to the crowds to offer some anti-stress therapy in the very first mobile plate smashing booth called the Venting Place. Business is booming in the shopping district and passers-by after passer-by drop in to smash a few cups and obliterate some crockery. The cost of such therapy depends on how much you wish to destroy. Small cups go for 200 yen, about $2 US each, while the bigger porcelain dishes were going for 1,000 yen, around $10. It's a bit pricey, but it beats seeing a shrink and it's cheaper. Masaki Ogawara, a 35-year-old salesman from a printing company, was one such passerby who walked in. He donned some protective gear, grabbed some cups and vented his anger physically and verbally as he threw the tableware against the concrete slabs inside the truck.
Life is pretty complicated and there are a lot of things to worry about right now, so this was refreshing. I now feel like I can start afresh again tomorrow.
IT consultant Shigeo Sasaki, who also took out some stress on the unfortunate porcelain cups, said it was a stroke of luck he came across the service while shopping with his wife and child.
It's recession here and recession there. All everyone talks about is the recession. In my company, it's also you can't do that, or you can do this. Like we can't expense taxi rides. I was feeling pent up and was looking for a way to release some of that when I had the good fortune to come across this place here.
The head of this anti-stress project, Katsuya Hara, said dish-smashing crockery is a proven scientific therapy that is slowly gaining recognition around the world.
To break something all of us know from experience is something extremely exhilarating. And it helps bring down one's pent-up anger levels.
Hara added the majority of his customers are businessmen and women who are stressed about their jobs and financial worries.
We hope to become the new way businessmen relieve their stress. Part and parcel with drinking, singing and now hopefully smashing dishes.
He also added that shards of the dishes are sent off to be recycled in order to make more cups and plates. So creating waste and hurting the environment is one less thing to stress about, and isn't that a good thing? So in this corner of the busy Tokyo shopping district, were there any heroes or zeros to be found? Of course there were. Firstly, in the hero stakes, there was Shigeo Sasaki, who takes his anger out on plates, cups and saucers rather than his wife and children. Then there's Katsuya Hara and his team of renegade chiropractors for setting up their own form of unusual but effective stress relief therapy and providing a great service to the people living the highly stressful inner city life of Tokyo. As for the zeros, though, it's the stressed-out businessmen and women who take their work so seriously that they need to use this dish-smashing therapy. You should work to live, not live to work. Take more holidays and spend more time with a wife and kids, just like Sasaki-san. Sure, your salary might come with a lot of zeros, but you're one of them. In Russia, it's that festive time of the year again. Celebrating and partying are the order of the day. And so are pancakes. Tons of them. This is Maslenitsa, similar to English Shrovetide or Brazilian Carnival. A festive holiday before the sombre fast of Lent. It marks the end of winter and the return of sunny days. And if you live in Russia, we're sure there are plenty of reasons to celebrate sunny days. It may still be cold in Red Square, but that doesn't dampen the festivities. And what better way to warm you up than with a fresh hot pancake, or 2, or 3, or maybe a couple of hundred. This year, the organisers of the Red Square celebrations came up with a brilliant idea of making the world's tallest stack of pancakes and feed all comers. The pancake is an integral part of Maslenitsa, as it represents the sun, warm, round and golden. As the celebrations went long into the night, so did the pancake stack making. Finally, the batter ran out and they had reached their goal, topping out at a massive 14.58 metres, or just under 48 feet. Now, in a story of traditional festivities and world record pancake stacking, some people might be stumped with finding heroes and zeros amongst the many people celebrating Maslenitsa. But not the quick-thinking hero to zero team. One such hero is this jolly dancing man, for getting on down to the pumping folk tunes and busting some of those famous Cossack moves. But the heroes of the day have to be all the cooks, for feeding all who came to the party and also making one monster stack of pancakes. Now, dig in, peoples! Coming up on the show, a man with extraordinary talents fixes our gadgets and gizmos. And grab your best pair of dancing shoes because we're about to go jiving! There are some jobs you'd think would be impossible without the ability to see, and an electronic technician is certainly one of those. Surely you wouldn't be able to be an electronics technician if you couldn't see, right? Right? Wrong, and this guy proves it. His name is Mohammed Muskim, and his strong intuition makes up for his lost sight. He repairs electronic items in the northern Indian town of Bijnor.
साथ मेरे घर वालों ने मुझे पढ़ाई के लिए डाल दिया जो हमारी दीनी पढ़ाई थी.
When I was in school, I developed an interest in electronic products like radio and music systems.
बस ऐसे सुनते ही जो है हम उसमें ज़्यादा ही.
So whenever I came back from school, I would start playing with the radio and other electronic items.
बढ़ते हमें इतना हुआ कि हमने शुरू में जो भी हमारे
Initially, I was not very good at repairing, but slowly I learnt the art.
खराब ही हुए हैं शुरू में, लेकिन ख़राब करके इतना हुआ कि अब हम उसको खुद करने लग गए, एक हद तक हुआ.
Mohammed has been blind since he was 2 years old, but has always had an interest in electronics despite this. Mohammed always believed that if God had sent him into the world without eyes, he would also bless him with other skills, so he persevered. Looks like he was right.
He was 2 years old when he lost his sight, but he never lost hope and courage, and he took up this profession. And now he can repair stabilizer, charger and many things. He is the one who takes care of everything.
The family was hoping for some financial support from the government, but so far haven't received any, making life hard for a family whose main income earner is blind, which of course makes the government officials the zeros of this story. The hero of this story is clearly Mohammed Muskim, who despite being blind, found the ability to do what he loves, and does a damn good job at it too. There are loads of uncoordinated people in this world we live in that just cannot dance, even if their life depended on it. But these Filipinos sure do have the moves to jive, rumba and cha-cha-cha. even if fate has forced them to swap their dancing shoes for a set of wheels. A shopping mall in the Philippines capital Manila hosted a wheelchair ballroom dancing competition in which 14 disabled contestants grooved to 3 dance categories: the jive, the cha-cha and the rumba, with their able-bodied partners for a prize of 5,000 pesos and a chance to compete abroad. The organisers of the event, House with No Steps, a charity that shelters and helps disabled people, believe wheelchair ballroom dancing is a good form of emotional therapy and physical exercise for its residents. Polio survivor Juanito Mingarain is a gold medal winning pentathlete in the Southeast Asia Paralympics, has competed in 45 countries, and on the side, he is a 4-time MVP in national wheelchair basketball. So he figured his skills in the wheelchair could be useful on the dance floor too.
Sana hindi nila kami
I hope people don't judge us based on physical appearance.
kaanyuan namin kasi
With the help of dancing, we can show our real emotions and share it with others.
tunay na damdamin namin sa kahit sa ibang tao.
Juanito's wife, Elke, whose leg was amputated due to bone cancer, is another gold medalist herself for table tennis in the Southeast Asian Paralympics. She also found her groove in wheelchair dancing as well.
Siguro, inano niyang Diyos na
Perhaps God has planned for my leg to be amputated because I had always dreamt of becoming an athlete for the Philippines. And maybe God wanted me to meet my husband.
The House with No Steps commissioned dance and sport professionals to teach ballroom dancing to disabled people. While sports such as racing, swimming and basketball were familiar to them, ballroom dancing was a different story.
Di kompleto yung katawan nila, di ba? Wala silang paa.
Their bodies cannot function completely as they've lost the sensation in their legs. But they can turn quickly. They can move their hands and heads quickly. They double their effort, and I really appreciate it.
24-year-old Julia Sobero, also a polio survivor, now not only excels in wheelchair racing, basketball and swimming, but also in wheelchair jive.
Minsan naiwasan ko po yung pag-isip sa
Through this, I can avoid thinking about my disability, that I'm like this, weak. And now I interact more with my fellow disabled people, whereas before, I couldn't accept that I was this way.
Meanwhile, back at the competition, husband and wife Juanito and Elke Mingarain had bagged the first place awards for the male and female categories. And back at the Hero to Zero office, husband and wife Juanito and Elke also bagged the Hero Award for the Hero category, for generally just being heroes. And the same goes for everybody at the wheelchair ballroom dancing competition, and everyone at the House with No Steps. Organising events like this instills much needed self-confidence in many people who need it. Now let's get back to the cha-cha-cha. Still to come, it's a breakout from Thailand's prison system through the power of fisticuffs. And we sample the cuisine in a Chinese prison. Plus, we crank up the zerometer and check out who are the Hero to Zero heroes and zeros. For most inmates crammed into Thailand's notoriously brutal prisons, dreams of fame, fortune and freedom are exactly that, dreams. But for the many robbers, drug dealers, murderers and other no-good doers at Bangkok's Thon Buri prison, that dream could very well become a reality. If they've got what it takes to become an Olympic boxer. Yes, that's right, folks. Murderers and drug dealers could be walking the streets freely if they are good at boxing. Sounds like a stupid idea to us.
แล้วทุกวันนี้ผู้ต้องขังน้องๆ
Most of the inmates here want to be like Amnat. They try hard to become a boxer. Many of them put their names down to compete in the inmate boxing tournament to become a representative of their jails.
เราเองนะครับเพื่อจะเป็นตัวแทนของสโมสรราชทัณฑ์
The inmates with potential get special treatment and are allowed to train, while other prisoners work in kitchens or hot laundry rooms. They even get a pair of really cool shoes. Nearly 200 prisoners are in training, But only a few will win a spot on Thailand's national boxing team and escape the confines of the notorious prison. The best convicted felon cum boxer might even get a chance to compete at the next Olympics. Training starts daily at 5:30 a.m. with a 90-minute long jog, followed by weightlifting and sparring. All the while, prison guards with batons watch their every move.
I'm confident. This is a good chance for me. I will try as hard as I can.
Many of the boxers wish to follow in the footsteps of former pickpocket Amnat Ruenroang, who won a bronze medal as a junior flyweight at the World Amateur Boxing Championships and was released from prison the following day for good behaviour. He then went on to fight at the Olympics. Of the 200 prisoners in training at Thonburi, 16 have qualified for international competitions. They regularly train with professional boxers brought inside the prison, and the professionals say they have talent. Inmates believe that daily training boosts their self-esteem and gives them the discipline to live life on the straight path. Now they want a chance to show their stuff to the outside world. Prison officials say they may have a future Olympian in their midst, but there is a lot more work to do.
They need to practice harder. Their basic skills and tactics for fighting are not that good. We need to train them more.
So in this story of convicted criminals fighting their way to the Olympics, then back onto the streets, who takes the title of hero and which loser should get punched with a zero? Well, obviously all the prisoners are zeros for being criminals in the first place. Preeta Nilsiri also gets the title of zero for trying to be the Thai version of Don King. Get your own style, old man. There can only be one. On the other hand, the former pickpocket turned world amateur boxing medalist Amnat Ruenroang gets the title of hero for being good enough to fight his way to freedom. But the greatest heroes of this knockout story has to go to the boxing trainers, who put themselves in harm's way trying to find the next Olympic medalist. That's dedication. For decades, the average person has done everything possible to stay away from their country's notorious jails. But over in Beijing, hundreds of hip urbanites have been pushing their way through a chain curtain into Beijing's first prison restaurant. An approximate 4 million yuan, or $480,000 investment, and 15 tons of steel was used to build the interior of this 3-story prison-themed restaurant. This prison restaurant reminds its customers of numerous prison movie scenes like the notorious Alcatraz. Let's hope they don't have to wear steel balls chained to their feet. The customers, or should we say inmates, of this prison restaurant are led to eat through thick black steel doors to jail cells named things like detention cell or prison. Let's hope there's not a room here called prison showers. Some rooms are almost chamber-like with only a few small windows, but are still more warm and cosy compared to real prison cells. Staff members are outfitted with special military police uniforms, and some waiters even stand guard at your table while you eat. This guy looks like he is waiting for a riot to break out, and that might just happen looking at some of these prices. Each dish ranges from 20 to 160 yuan, or 2 to 20 US dollars. Now that's a lot for prison food. Specialising mainly in Southeast Asian cuisine, these dishes are given funny names such as seafood in a coffin, confession shrimp, and buried alive with braised clams. Now the question that everyone has been waiting for to be released is who are the heroes and zeros of this convicted story? For not only wanting to eat behind bars in a room with barely any space or even a view, But for forking out so much for it as well, we think that all of you wannabe convicts deserve the big thumbs down from us. Yes, that's right, for spending so much money on eating in a cold concrete cell rather than a luxury room with a lush scenic view, it's a 0 for you. Today we have seen a smorgasbord of heroes and zeros on Hero to Zero. We met the renegade chiropractors who are de-stressing the world one piece of crockery at a time. The Russians praising the sun and the pancake, and Mohammed the blind gizmo wizard. We met the cha-cha-chaing wheelchair users who can dance better than most able-bodied people, the prison battlers boxing their way to the Olympics, and the zeros who like to dine in prisons. But the big question is, of all the colourful characters on the show, who are the heroes and who are the zeros? Let's find out. First up, let's take a look at the heroes. Firstly, the wheelchair groovers and all who were involved with the ballroom dance-off get the Hero to Zero seal of approval for helping out people with disabilities. All the cooks that helped build the world's tallest stack of pancakes and fed the partygoers get a mention for getting into the festive mood and giving out free eats. Honourable mention also has to go to the jolly dancing Cossack man for generally being cool. But the biggest hero of this show has to be Katsuo Hara and his smashing chiropractor buddies. He clearly understands that this hectic world we live in needs some de-stressing, and what better way to do it than by smashing plates? So for finding a peaceful and harmless way to chill people out, Katsuo is our hero of heroes. And now the shameful zeros, of which we have many. All the prisoners in Thailand's correctional system get a mention just for being lawbreakers and criminals. The highly stressed businessmen and women of Japan also get the thumbs down for taking work too seriously and forgetting about life. But the biggest zeros of this show are government fat cats of the northern Indian town of Bijnor, who rejected financial help for Mohammed Muskim and his family. The wonderful world in which we live is full to the brim with superheroes and sad, sad zeros. People will try absolutely anything to rise above the crowd and become something special. Sometimes they make it as a hero, and other times they just end up looking a complete zero. Hero or zero, we love them all on Hero to Zero.